Okay, I want you to look at accomplishment 2. I've given you some examples in the book of accomplished writing. Here's an example of awful writing. This one is pretty awful. I want you to go through it in your spare time when you have nothing better to do and see if you can analyze why this is very poor writing. Now, true, I want you to concentrate on the accomplished writing and what made it accomplished and the exemplars, characteristics of accomplished teaching that you saw. But go through this one and let's just take a look, a little bit humorous, I admit, of some really awful writing. Now, I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm going to give you some things that I saw. There's 4 or 5 things in there. There's a few more, but these are enough to show you what you do not want to do as a writer for the National Board certification process. Accomplishment 2 is weak. It is teacher-centered, not student-centered. It's I counted 17 references to I in this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is teacher-centered, not student-centered. It furnishes very little evidence. It makes statements, but it doesn't furnish a lot of evidence. There's an indication of some things in there, but it's not necessarily evidence. The fact that this person was nominated from an award shows that she goes above and beyond, or he goes above and beyond. Not necessarily. It just showed that somebody cared to nominate them. So that's not really evidence. It's also illogical. It says few teachers receive such an award, not because they're poor teachers, but because nobody nominates them. And it could be that they're not nominated and they're an excellent teacher. So it's illogical in the writing. There's other things in here. There's poor modifiers. If you read it, you English teachers, I'm sure will catch this immediately. It says, I've always put my students first and tried to be a professional role model to younger teachers. This is good, but this doesn't necessarily furnish evidence that they are a good teacher. That's a sweeping generality. That's not specific evidence. There's no direct evidence. It says, since I have taught for many years, I know my growth as a teacher has been a long and learning process. Well, there's no evidence that just because they taught that many years that they're a good teacher. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, although it should. And then I think you get the point. This is awful writing. Hopefully this will be an example in the negative, what you should not do as a writer for the National Board certification process.